being seriously competitive on these big weekend meetings. That's what I'm really about.
One of the great performances in jump race history. Another demolition job from Denver.
And it's just many clouds who's over in front.
The Colgo Cup is one of the hottest handicaps of the year.
Colin Tizzard for Cycling Tennessee trains the first two.
Dad will always tell you, like, it's not easy. My old man's won too. I need to get one on the list. I get more nervous on the day.
And they're off.
That feeling when a horse wins and crosses the line. Go on! That's what we do it for.
Situated in the heart of Somerset, England, Venn Farm is home to the Tizzards, a farming family with a love for jump racing. Inheriting the training licence from Colin, his son, Joe.
There's still two businesses. We milked cows up until 4 years ago. But the horses grew, got up to where we are now, which is about 110. And then we sold the dairy cows because of the commitment. The hassle was the same time in the morning, 6:30 in the morning. I was being dragged two ways. So Dad and I just went for a drive and both decided we weren't going to stop farming. We have 500 head of beef and still farm 700 acres. But the horses are more important.
The intensity ramps up as Joe enters his first winter jump season on the back of a successful summer campaign.
The winter's about to kick off, but the summer racing's been unreal. They've just been flying. They were operating at a 30% strike rate, which is bonkers, really.
It will be Slate House and a first win with Joe Tizzard's name on the licence.
Massive congratulations to Joe Tizzard, who has trained a winner with his own name on the licence. Very well done.
It's been a family business forever, but it's certainly special being in my name. It's quite special to see my name as a trainer in the race card and that, to be honest. It's lovely. For good owners as well, John Romans is a big support of ours and Eric and Jeff, and it's a special day for me. If you hit the ground running, the press won't say, oh, he can't train like his father could. Cheltenham winner would be amazing, Aintree the same. But if we keep going along as we are and we get to 65, 70 winners, not bad rookie season, is it?
Joe is no stranger to the world of horse racing, having had an extensive career as a jockey that spanned almost 2 decades.
I always hoped that I would be a professional jockey, but I thought it was kind of out of range. My first week at secondary school, I wrote then that I wanted to be a national hunt jockey. We literally counted down the years till I was going to be able to point to point. So that was kind of the start of it.
Joe Tizzard racing up towards the line.
Joe started his career as a jockey at 16, working hard to get rides for champion trainer Paul Nicholls. Joe soon picked up significant wins.
It's Paul Nicholls, his first Cheltenham Festival winner as a trainer. Flagship Uberales wins it under Joe Tizzard.
I rode in a Grand National when I was 17, a bomb scare year. I was the second youngest ever riding a Grand National.
With First Light, police resumed their search of the racecourse, but no bombs have been found, and the organisers are confident the big race will go ahead tomorrow.
That whole weekend experience is that I'll never forget. I had 94 winners that first season as a conditional and broke AP's record. That whole year was bonkers, Paul's horses were flying. I think the longest spell I went without a winner was 13 rides. There wasn't a chance to ever be disappointed. I went to work for Paul, but Dad had organised it. I only went 3 days a week because with the farm and the point-to-pointers at home, he was struggling to find anybody that could commit. He got a permit so that he could run his own horse under rules and then I could ride them.
Joe Lively got over it, only just ahead. He really wants it badly. Forges ahead again to beat Here's Johnny.
That's how the yard started as a professional yard, and the timing-wise was perfect for me because I'd been at Paul's for 10 years and our yard started growing off the back of that. I just needed a good horse again in the long game Q card.
Joe's first big win on Q card came in 2010 when he won the champion bumper for his father at the prestigious Cheltenham Festival.
Q card has won. Colin Tizzard and son Joe have a Cheltenham Festival winner, 40-1, and he has hacked up.
He propelled our yard and propelled my riding career for an extra 4 or 5 years.
Q-Card wins the Ryanair of 2013.
I loved being a jockey. I had 18 years as a professional. It was the best life in the world. Travel around the country with your mates, all young men, riding horses at breakneck speed, which you want to do. Just sit with that. Just sit with that, Mickey, all right?
After 18 years and more than 480 winners, Joe hung up his helmet for the last time.
I was always a tall jockey, always fighting my weight, and just literally one day, I just got up that morning and decided that the time was right. I don't really like that first season thing because I don't think it's fair on young trainers that are starting out. So it's not really first season because I've been part of growing the yard anyway, and it's gone into my name, but it's still very much a partnership. So it's not really fair to say, oh, his first season, because nobody starts with this many horses and this quality of horses in their first season. Dad just got to the age where he'd done it for so long and was ready to sort of pass it over. I'm 42 and ready to take it on, and Dad will always tell you, it's not easy. You know, I'm lucky that I've got him to fall on. He's not retired at all, he'll be up here any second, but it's just, he doesn't want to deal with the phone ringing constantly with owners, press and all that. Here he is, look. If he knows when there's cameras around, he's always about.
Joe's the right age, and I don't really want to interfere too much. I interfere all the time, but fickle job racing. There's a lot of things to remember when you're training racehorses. He's doing bloody well.
The first major target for Joe is a race of significance for the yard, the Coral Gold Cup.
As they're gathering themselves at the 3 1/4 mile start.
The Coral Gold Cup's a huge handicap. You know, the biggest handicap of the season.
Colin Tizzard for Siding, Tennessee, trains the first.
I've grown up knowing that race, lucky enough to ride in it lots of times, and it's a huge part, and it's really competitive. For a second season chaser, it's a lovely sort of target to have a prep run and then head there.
Fortunately, Joe already has 2 horses in mind to do the job.
2 main hopes would be Fiddler on the Roof and Oscar's Elite.
Fiddler on the Roof is in second place and he's closing now inside the closing stages.
Fiddler was second, beating half length in it last year. And Oscar's Elite was third in a big handicap at Cheltenham.
Oscar Elite, Korak Rambler, threads the eye of the needle.
I think if he gets into a rhythm, he could take a bit of stopping.
But it's Native River.
Those big races are special to win, and that feeling when a horse wins and crosses the line, that is, I think, like the trainer's own little pat on the back. So that's what we do it for.
And another big race for Colin Tizzard.
It's just 10 days until the Coral Gold Cup. Joe has brought his 2 prospective runners to Newbury in order to freshen them up away from their normal routine.
We don't get an opportunity to do this very often. It's perfect timing. I've got my 2 runners that are going to run in it, Fiddler on the Roof and Oscar's Elite. They've had a nice trip in the lorry, nice away day. They'll gallop over about 1.5 miles. It's not really a piece of work to try and get them fit. Just get an away day, have a nice blow, little breeze up the straight. The owners love it. You can see their horses do a piece of work they might not see at home. Thought it was loose then. I thought the front one was loose for a minute. Straight upside, yeah. Just go upside the whole way. Neither of them are keen, are they, particularly? So, yeah, kick on out there then. We can go on now, Luke, can we? I'm going to go out and just watch in the stands. Be right, yeah, thanks. I mean, it looks a really competitive race, as always. You know, the Coral Gold Cup is one of the hottest handicaps of the year.
And then a tiring fullback as they move then.
Well, Remaster, it perhaps cost us the race in it last year because he fell, I think it was 4 out or 5 out.
Remaster goes.
And we just had to sidestep him and just cost us a bit of momentum. It's a hot race, you know. Any in the top 10 in the betting all tick a lot of boxes.
Fiddler on the Roof with the sponsors 12-1, Oscar Elite also in the race.
You get a lot of You know, the trend is a lot of second season chasers tend to run really well in it. There's always a bit of a cavalry charge down over the first 2 or 3, so if they get into a nice rhythm after a couple of fences, then, well, they both stay the trip and they should run well.
Put the finishing touches to what could be a dual-pronged Tizzard attack on the Coral Gold Cup when we're back here in a couple of weeks' time.
Someone who knows all about the Coral Gold Cup is Joe's dad, Colin.
The Native River, brilliant staying chaser, that's what he was in his prime.
So the full result of this afternoon's feature race, first number 4, Native River.
I've got his name plaque on the door right there. It's Newbury give you a plaque, and so we took the plaque off and put it beside the door now. I want Joe to make the decisions. I don't want to be up there if he makes a decision, say, oh, well, I wouldn't have done that, and then saying afterwards, well, you were right or I was right. I want him to feel the pain if it's wrong. It's pressure because of what you want out of it. Pressure's on because you want to win. That's what we hope anyway.
I get more nervous on the day. It's a big race on Saturday. I think I've got a couple of real live each way chances, and I think there's only going to be a dozen or so runners, so you know, my old man's won too. I need to get one on the list. There's Fiddler on the roof. Bring him on in. Bring him on in. Just making sure they're doing enough. Have a little play this morning, really. Jump a fence, Brendan, jump a fence. Quite pleased with Fiddler. Those elite horses take some finding. We're trying. I mean, that's the key to the future, isn't it? Finding the next owner that's got a few quid to spend and finding the right horses when they come along. That's Oscar's elite. Looks ready, doesn't he? You know, I'm taking 6 horses to Newbury on Saturday. I think have all got great chances on a big weekend. We target these big races, always have done, and we've been lucky enough to win them a couple of times. So being seriously competitive on these big weekend meetings, that's what I'm really about.
In a bid to increase his chances in the Coral Gold Cup, Joe enters another runner, Lost in Translation.
You know, he's a Betfair winner.
Super-powered, Lost in Translation.
Gold Cup third.
Album photo to Lost in Translation.
Both of his options in the last fortnight we've lost because of soft ground, which is bonkers. There's only a few of these races. If a horse has got a live chance in it, he deserves to take his chance.
It's Coral Gold Cup day, and the team is preparing for what lies ahead.
I got Fiddler, Oscar Elite coming, and Killer Kane in this lorry, and then there's another lorry with the other 2 runners, which are Lost in Translation and Amarillo Sky. I know it's exciting, isn't it? It's, you know, it's what you aim for, isn't it? It's what we thrive for on the Saturdays racing and big races, and to go there today with, you know, 3 horses in their own right that all have a good chance. It's we're looking forward to it.
I just love everything. I just love the preparation, the excitement. You know, you could be going there with the winner, you know. They're just so gentle. You know, they're so loving. You're with them every day. I mean, to be honest, you know, you spend more time with them than you do your family. So if they win, it's a bonus. But at the end of the day, you just want to come back safe and sound. You know.
Good boy. Up you go.
Growing up, I always thought that it was the biggest handicap chase of the year always, and really exciting just to be part of that day. You know, you sort of prove yourself on the big stage, as it were, and yeah, that's what it's all about. It's a huge race.
Well, a warm welcome to Newbury, where it's day 2 of the Coral Gold Cup meeting. We're in for a fantastic day's racing, a quality lineup in the feature race, the Coral Gold Cup. The Joe Tizzard team throwing down a triple assault in a race they really have great affection for. Number 4, Lost in Translation, ridden by Joe's nephew, Freddie Gingell, such a young, exciting talent. Number 12, Oscar Elite. The mount of Harry Cobden, finished 3rd in the Ultima at Cheltenham. The final one of the Tizzard runners, we've got number 2 there, Fiddler on the Roof, ridden by Brendan Powell, as he was last year. Could he go one better this time round?
Let's go and win the Coral Gold Cup then.
Lining up for the Coral Gold Cup, and we are on that now, so it won't be too much longer. Very, very competitive race. Lost in Translation and Fiddler on the Roof and Oscar Elite. 3 runners for Joe Tizzard.
As the start fast approaches and Colin watches on from behind, the immense pressure that Joe faces is apparent.
And they're off in the 2022 Coral Gold Cup, running for $250,000 and a strong pace onto the first fence. Jericho Rock, Oscar Elite, Fiddler on the Roof up there with Ann Sam. Potterman made a mistake. Lost in translation, pretty hopelessly outpaced at this early stage. Fiddler on the Roof, last year's second under Brendan Powell, but followed by the white-faced Oscar Elite, Les Milos on the outside with Potterman. They're now into the home straight and running to number 7, the loose horse right in between Bustleton, over in 3rd place.
The fucking loose horse.
And the loose horse just inconvenienced the front two there a little bit. Fiddler on the Roof and Oscar Elite, Red Happy, remastered next as they come over the open ditch. Fiddler on the Roof is off the bridle.
Fuckers are flat out.
Oscar Elite trying to creep closer. Fiddler on the Roof, Red Happy, both struggling a bit. Then Diablo de Rouet lost in translation, and Korak Rambler passing Jericho Rock on the outer. Oscar Elite, Red Happy is still there. As they make the turn for home, Bustleton and Ansam, they are still disputing. Oscar Elite and Remastered try to creep into it. Here's the 4th last. Bustleton comes into it, joined by Les Milos, Ansam, Les Milos to Jericho Rock, and then Bustleton in 3rd, Remastered. Korak Rambler still staying on as Les Milos has the advantage here, and the 2nd last is over 3 clear.
This weekend I thought I brought some bloody nice horses here. It's a downside of the sport, and you have to deal with it, but it never gets any easier. I kind of convinced myself that one of them could win. I deal with that every day of the week, every single day of the week. If we're operating at a 20% strike rate, we're doing well, and that means 80% is disappointing.
There is little time to dwell on the disappointment as Joe saddles a horse in the next race, a 2-mile handicap chase for loyal owner John Romans. This is Joe's final chance of the day to get a winner on the board and prove he can produce competitive runners on the big days.
Amarillo Sky, he won really nicely at Cheltenham 2 weeks ago, so I'll be disappointed if he can't go very close again.
There's Amarillo Sky, who is the favourite. The Tizzards could do with a little bit of a change of fortune. He's 11-8. Now, when he won last time, you thought, if he could go and do that again, then you're talking about probably quite a serious horse. They're getting themselves sorted out, this sextet, for the finale. Here's David.
And they're off. They're running for the Jim Joel Memorial Trophy. Amarillo Sky, Bundoran and Cortland, the first 3 to show, ahead of Monsieur Lecoq in the pink with the 6-year-old Amarillo Sky, as they come to the water jump for the final time this afternoon. And it's the veteran Bundoran, a spring-heeled leap, almost too much so. He shows them the way, the 2019 Desert Orchid Chase winner, to Amarillo Sky, now on his outside in 2nd place. They now move on to fence number 7 of the 13, the penultimate one down the back. Bundoran on the inside of Amarillo Sky. They match one another over that fence. Only Money is following them with Cortland. Monsieur Lecoq is being bumped along, and Hatcher is on the outside. Bundoran on the inside of Amarillo Sky. Tom Scudamore and Brendan Powell. Amarillo Sky, Only Money in 3rd. Defending the lead robustly here on the inside of Amarillo Sky, who is travelling strongly. Only Money is in 3rd now.
He don't fucking stop from there, does he? Unless he had a hard race.
Amarillo Sky just nosing to the narrowest of leads to Bundoran, and out-jump Bundoran there, and the favourite strides on. It's Amarillo Sky with the advantage. The last ditch, 3 out. Over 2.5 lengths clear of Only Money, who's going to try and pick Amarillo Sky off. Gets one behind the saddle. They head to the 2nd last, and Amarillo Sky, who's traded punches with Bundoran, he still leads by 2 lengths to Only Money, who hasn't got on terms just yet, but Brendan Powell is pretty vigorous on the leader as they
jump to last, he wins. Go on, you little fucker.
Fence. Amarillo Sky still with 3 lengths to Only Money, and Amarillo Sky comes to the last, and a beautiful jump, and he's clear by 4 or 5 now. Heading inside the last furlong, it's Amarillo Sky with the initiative. He's 5 or 6 lengths clear, and he's a progressive young chaser, Amarillo Sky. He's going to win for Joe Tizzard, John Romans and Brendan Powell, and Amarillo Sky will take the Jim Joel Memorial Trophy.
He's a fucking good one. It's only 2 weeks now. Yeah. He'd get further, wouldn't he? Well, it ended up a lovely day. So you have a flat for half an hour, and then you have a high. Thank you. Lovely. Made the day all right, didn't it?
Yeah. Trained by Joe Tizzard and ridden by Brendan Powell, the final winner of the Coral Gold Cup meeting, number 2, Amarillo Sky.
But you've got to enjoy these highs. You know, we'll stay here and have a drink tonight, we'll celebrate it and we'll enjoy it. So no doubt we'll catch up and enjoy it properly.
The guy started leading out 2015.
Q-Card is coming too close to call.
The Q-Card was an exceptional horse. I'll never forget it.
King George VI chase, a win for number 3, Q-Card.
They're those sort of mantelpiece races you want to be winning and you want to be competitive in.
To win those type of races, you've got to be on your very best form.
It's not an easy race to ride in, you know, you've got to be really positive to get your position.